triple billing? And I said, no. And I set it up so that one that cost $659 now a month. I got that set up, and they can only give you 30-day subscription. But on the other ones, they're still, because I guess that's 4 hours subscription, they're still trying to give me 3 of them.
Thank you for the question. And I think we now have, instead of doing a 30-day prescription fill, it's now 3 months. What? From 1 month to 3 months. Yeah. And I don't know that, I know that I think anyone can get 3 months now instead of 1 month. I'm not as familiar with where that came about. I think it's maybe an issue of, right. And I think it's an issue of convenience for a lot of people, but yeah, I think you bring up a good point of what happens when you have these prescriptions that are full when they wouldn't necessarily be needed. And I think you bring up a good point. There's a lot of, I think, fraud, waste, and abuse in the Medicare system. Yeah. No, but maybe could I talk about Medicare on a broader scale? Would that be okay? And I'll, if you want, if you give me your address or a phone number, I'll take a look at when it started, and we can maybe chat on it if you would give me your number after the event. Is that okay? Wonderful. Thank you. I mean. But quickly on Medicare, can I touch on that? I think you hear a lot from the president, because first of all, there's 2 different ideas in Medicare. The president has one, and House Republicans had come out with some ideas on how we fix it. And the problem is that with Medicare, we used to have 18, 19 workers for every 1 retiree. Today it's about 3 workers for every 1 retiree. So you have far less workers supporting the Medicare system, which creates pressure on it. Also, you have Medicare costs that go up at about 8% a year, and the economy is growing at 2% a year. So the costs are far outpacing the pace of the growth of the economy. And it's a beautiful thing with modern medicine. People get a little longer, so we have more people on the system. So all that has created unique pressure on Medicare. And everyone says you got to address the problem. There's 2 very distinct differences in the ideas on how you fix Medicare. First of all, the president in the healthcare reform bill, or Obamacare, what they did is they took $500 billion out of Medicare to use for Obamacare, which I think if you're on Social Security, I think a lot of people are angry that their money has been taken out of Social Security for generations and used for something else, and there's a fund that's full of IOUs. There's no money there. Your mother of 10? That's fantastic. I'm the 10th of 11. Congratulations. We know the work that today. Thank you. Said, do you know how many kids I have paying into Medicare? How many do you have paying? Point well made. Point well. Well, thank you for the point. But quickly, as we go back to what the president's doing is to address the Medicare cost issue. What he's done is they've instituted what's called the Independent Payment Advisory Board. Has anybody heard of that? The IPAD board? A few of you have. Next year, this board is going to start up, and it's 15 unelected bureaucrats that are going to make decisions about reimbursement rates on Medicare. And so as we start to come up to the cap on Medicare spending, they'll be able to lower reimbursements to hospitals, doctors, and clinics. And they'll tell you that, yes, we're going to pay your hospital, your doctor, or your clinic less, but don't you worry, you're going to get the same access and quality of care. And if you believe that, I've got some oceanfront land in Arizona for you. Of course you're not going to have the same access and quality of care. You're going to pay less for it. You're going to start to see more hospitals and doctors and clinics to stop taking Medicare. And that's for current seniors. That's for our current seniors today who are retired based on the promise of a program. We believe that they should get the promise they bargained for. They retired, they've saved, believe that they're going to get a certain set of benefits with Medicare, they should get it. We propose putting the money back into Medicare, doing away with the IPAP board. Everyone who's 55 and older, they get the traditional Medicare system. We preserve it, we protect it, we save it for our current seniors and those who are about to retire. We do modify it for a future generation, which if you're going to modify it, you should do it for a generation that can actually save for the changes in the plan. But what we do is we set up a premium support system where you're able to go into the marketplace, pre-approved plans from Medicare, buy a plan that works for you and your family. Medicare gives you premium support. If you've made less money over the course of your lifetime, you get more support. If you're Mark Zuckerberg, who started Facebook, you'll get far less support. And if the older you get, the sicker you get, and the more support you get as well. So, but we believe that you have a better ability to pick a plan that works for you than your government does.
Johnny Proctor from Wausau, question on taxes.